My old boss said I'd never make it past being someone's sidekick. Last week, he joined the Zoom interview for a job at my company. This happened over several years, and I still get a bit of secondhand cringe when I think about it. Back in 2017, I worked at a mid-sized PR firm in Manchester. My role was technically account executive, but I did way more than what the title suggested. Pitching, damage control, proposal writing, I was basically keeping entire campaigns afloat behind the scenes, quietly. My boss, Craig, was one of those people who live for hierarchy. If an idea didn't come from him or one of his favorites, it wasn't worth entertaining. He loved cutting people off mid-sentence, especially junior staff. During one review, after I'd helped salvage a nearly collapsed client contract, I asked whether there was potential for growth. He actually laughed, and then said, "You're great at supporting roles. Every team needs a sidekick, or you're not a lead character. Not in this industry." I stayed another 3 months, saved up some money, and left. No dramatic goodbye, just a polite notice and a deleted Slack account. After that, I freelanced. Took a job at a small creative agency doing social campaigns. Lean team, smart people, no Craig types. My input actually mattered. I learned more in a year than I had in 3 at the old place. In 2020, during the early lockdowns, I co-founded a consultancy with a colleague, focused on crisis communication and brand reputation for startups and nonprofits. It was slow at first, but one of our early clients got into TechCrunch after a pitch I wrote, and referrals started rolling in. By 2024, we had a team of 10, fully remote, profitable, stable, and picky about who we hired. 2 weeks ago, we posted a role for a senior comms strategist. Guess who applied? Craig. Same surname, same voice too, because he was part of a group Zoom interview we do in round 1. He still didn't recognize me, or maybe he did, was just trying to keep it together. His answers were average. He leaned heavily on vague jargon and senior leadership talk, but offered no actual substance. At the end of the call, I said, "Craig, do you still believe some people are meant to be sidekicks?" He went completely silent. I smiled and said, "Thanks for your time, we'll be in touch." We weren't. I didn't reject him with some dramatic email. I didn't need to. We just moved on. That's the part no one tells you about real revenge. It doesn't need a mic drop, just enough growth that they have to sit across from you, hoping you'll say yes.
My boss demoted me to cover his affair. I let his wife find out, the right way. My boss Rick was married, charming, and a total snake. I found out the hard way when I got blindsided with a demotion for performance issues. Total lie. The real reason? I'd accidentally double-booked a restaurant where he was taking his mistress, who also worked with us. Instead of owning up, he pinned it on me to avoid suspicion, said I was disorganized and unreliable. I didn't say a word, just quietly started collecting. See, I still had access to shared files and the work phone. And Rick, not the brightest. He synced his personal messages to his work email, flirty texts, calendar events, even a hotel receipt, all backed up automatically. I printed everything. Then I waited. A month later, at the company's family open house, employees brought their spouses and kids. Rick's wife came, all smiles. I accidentally left a sealed envelope labeled "Payroll Discrepancy, R. Thompson," on the table next to the catered lunch where she was sitting. She opened it. Her smile vanished. She left without a word. 2 weeks later, Rick was gone. No warning, no goodbye email. Word got around. Divorce and HR investigation. And me, I got promoted. His office still smells like cheap cologne.
He lied about being single, so I crashed his anniversary in the pettiest way possible. We met on a dating app. He said he was new in town, single, looking for something real. For 3 months, we dated. He was sweet, thoughtful, a little too good at hiding his phone. I trusted him, until one night while he was in the shower a text popped up. "Dinner was amazing tonight. Can't wait to cuddle." From Anna, his girlfriend of 2 years. I didn't cry. I didn't fight. Instead, I got creative. I snapped a photo of us cuddled up that night, time-stamped. Then I found Anna's Instagram. She had posted about their big anniversary dinner that very evening. So I waited. A week later, she posted a photo of them again. Matching outfits, champagne. Caption said 2 years strong. I DM'd her. "You should update the caption to 2 years plus one side chick." Attach the photo. A screen recording of our texts. And a Venmo request for half the Uber rides I paid for that he took to meet her. She replied, "Handled." Next day, his Insta, gone. His number, blocked. Venmo, she paid it. With the note, "Sorry about him. I didn't just get closure, I got reimbursed."
My ex faked a terminal illness to win me back, so I became her doctor. My ex Claire broke up with me brutally. No warning, I came home one day and half the apartment was empty. She'd left me for someone more exciting, blocked me everywhere, and moved on like I never existed. It wrecked me, but I rebuilt, focused on med school, finished my rotations, and started residency in a new city. I eventually co-founded a crisis comms consultancy, and life was finally good. Then, 2 years later, Claire emailed me. She said she made a mistake, and more importantly, that she was sick. She hinted at some rare autoimmune condition and that she didn't have long. She didn't say terminal, but heavily implied it. I agreed to meet. She looked pale, thinner, worn down, even had a hospital bracelet on. She cried, apologized, told me she was scared, said I was the only person who'd ever really been there for her. I fell for it. I started taking her to appointments. She'd talk about treatments, symptoms, this elusive specialist she had. but there were no actual prescriptions, no diagnosis I could verify, and no records she'd let me see. As a doctor, it didn't add up. So I dug deeper, and it unraveled. Her specialist? Fake. The hospital she claimed to visit? Didn't exist. Her symptoms? Random and inconsistent. She faked a life-threatening illness to win me back. So I gave her what she wanted, more attention. I told her I had access to a rare disease specialist. I created a fake intake system, made up a doctor, Dr. Ellery Brandt, and booked telehealth consults using a deepfake avatar and AI voice filter. For 6 weeks, I treated her. I had her logging symptoms, avoiding food groups, even shaving part of her head, all while reinforcing that her disease was worsening. She spiraled into her own lie. Then I referred her to a real hospital, mine, for a final panel. She showed up with forged documents and was eventually escorted out for causing a scene in the lobby when no one found her on record. 2 days later, I sent her one final message. You didn't just fake an illness. You turned sickness into a game and expected a doctor to play along. You wanted me back. Instead, you got a diagnosis. Pathological liar. Blocked, deleted, done. Revenge didn't need fireworks. Just the right dose of truth, prescribed by someone who knew exactly what she was faking.
My daughter keeps talking to the man in the wall. 3 weeks ago, my 5-year-old daughter said something strange. The man in the wall says you were mean to him. I laughed it off. We don't have an attic or crawl space, just drywall. Nothing could be in there, right? But the next night, I heard her whispering, alone, to the wall. I pressed my ear to it, and I swear I heard someone whisper back. I tore the wall open the next morning. Nothing but insulation, until I found an old photo, dated 1993, a man standing in our living room, smiling in a postal uniform. I looked him up. He used to live here. He went missing in 1994, never found. Last night, I caught my daughter at the wall again, smiling. I asked what she was saying. She said, "He's done digging. He says it's your turn to go in now."
My boss made me sign a humiliating NDA, so I turned it into his resignation letter. So 3 years ago, I worked at a boutique tech firm, 15 people total, and my boss, Gary, thought he was Steve Jobs meets Gordon Ramsay. Screamed at devs, took credit for every line of code, and had a weird obsession with loyalty. One day, I spoke up in a client meeting, correcting a mistake he made. Next day, he calls me into his office and hands me an NDA. Sign this or you're out. No talking about anything you see here, especially me. I was 23, broke, and terrified. I signed it. Dumb, I know. But here's the thing. Gary was too lazy to actually read what he gave me because he copied the NDA template off the internet and left editing rights in the doc metadata. Least he could have done is converted to PDF before sending it to me. So I quietly made some changes. Nothing illegal, just subtle stuff, like adding a clause that any attempt to publicly discredit the signee, me, would void the NDA entirely. And another that said all internal comms involving the signee must be retained for personal record keeping. Saved it, signed it, dated it. I printed 2 copies. He signed both. Fast forward 6 months, Gary goes full rage mode after I land a partnership deal he didn't think I could. Calls me dead weight on Slack, then sends a mass email mocking me. I reply once, just so you're aware, those messages void the NDA per clause 6.2. As such, I'll be forwarding the thread and full company history to legal and the board. Suddenly, I'm getting offers to talk privately. 2 weeks later, Gary resigns to pursue other opportunities. The board brings me in as interim lead until the merger closes. Guess what was in his resignation packet? The original NDA, signed by both of us.
My cousin took the man I loved, so I took her moment. She wasn't just my cousin. She was my best friend, the girl I told everything to. She knew how much I loved him. 4 years, we talked marriage. She listened to it all, while sleeping with him behind my back. I didn't find out from either of them. I found out from Spotify, a playlist named For Her, filled with songs only she used to hum. They lied, then admitted it, said it just happened, that they were meant to be. A year later, they sent me an invite to their wedding. Front row, family seat, with a little framed photo of me and her as kids. Labeled, Forever Sisters, cute. I didn't reply. I didn't even RSVP. I waited. Waited until she walked halfway down the aisle, beaming, veil blowing, music swelling. Then I stood up from the crowd, held up the frame I took from the reception table, and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "You don't get to lie your way into love and still pretend we're family." I dropped the frame. The glass cracked, just like her smile. Then I walked out, before she reached the altar. Her big moment, now forever tangled with mine. And every photo from that aisle has me walking the other way.
I installed a baby monitor in my room. I don't have a baby. Part 1 of 3. Last month, my apartment complex gave out free baby monitors in a promo for new parents. I don't have a kid, but I figured it'd work as a cheap security cam for my room. The first night, I got a motion alert at 3:13 a.m. I live alone. I thought it was my cat, but she was curled up next to me the whole time. So I checked the footage, and I swear, someone walked through my room. Not blurry, not glitchy. A woman, long black hair, bare feet. She passed right in front of the closet, then disappeared. No sound, no exit, just gone. I reset the monitor, tried to sleep. The next night it happened again. This time she whispered something into the monitor. This room used to be mine. I pulled the plug, called building security. They checked the system, but there was no footage saved. Nothing. But one of the guards pulled me aside and asked what unit I lived in. When I told him, he went quiet. That room, someone went missing there. About 10 years ago. Her name was Leah. They never found her. I started packing. I was done. But as I unplugged the monitor and pulled it off the wall, I saw something scratched into the paint behind it. 2 words. Deep. Jagged. Don't leave. I installed a baby monitor in my room. I don't have a baby. Part 2/3. I moved out the next morning. Didn't sleep, didn't eat, just packed. New apartment, new city. I didn't take the monitor, didn't even tell my friends why I left. What would I say? A ghost told me not to leave? Things were normal for about a week. Then I got a notification. Motion detected. From the baby monitor app I'd deleted. I froze, reinstalled it. When I opened it, the screen was pitch black. But I could hear breathing. Soft. Wet. Then that same voice again. I said, don't leave. I felt cold. Like the room itself stopped breathing. I turned around. No one. That night my hallway light flickered. At exactly 3:13 a.m. Same as before. Same time the alerts always came. From then on, this started happening more and more frequently. I started checking Reddit, apartment forums, eventually found a screenshot of a deleted post 2 years ago. Someone else lived in the same unit. Their caption read, "Does anyone know why the baby monitor keeps turning on by itself?" And below it, there's a woman in my footage. She walks toward the camera, but the closer she gets, the more my own face disappears. The comments were all gone, except one, posted hours later, too late. I felt overwhelmed and exhausted. I didn't know what else to do, so I decided to go back. I installed a baby monitor in my room. I don't have a baby. Part 3, I decided to go back to the original apartment, to the source. I convinced the new tenant to let me in, told him I left something during the move. I brought the baby monitor and set it up in the same spot as before, facing the closet. At 3:13 a.m. she came. Didn't leave this time. She walked directly up to the camera, stared into the lens like she could see through it, and whispered, "You saw me. That means now they'll see you." I looked down at the live feed on my phone. It wasn't showing her anymore. It was showing me. Only my face was wrong, eyes too dark, smile too wide. Like something was wearing me like a mask. The image glitched. My voice came through the monitor, but I hadn't spoken. Then the app closed itself, and the shortcut vanished from my home screen. I checked my camera roll. Every photo of me had been replaced. Same everything. But a different face. Hers, smiling.